Let's start the news with Sony and how they've basically ruled out releasing any major games from existing franchises this financial year.
That is correct. So this is from now until the 31st of March 2025. So that basically means no Horizon sequels, no God of War, no Last of Us, no Spider-Man 2, or anything exclusive on their side, like anything that has a sequel. So no Ratchet and Clank lah, in other words as well. They're also forecasting less sales for the PlayStation 5 from now on as the console is entering its later years, which kind of hints that maybe we might see a PlayStation 6 announcement maybe in the next few years or so. But on the plus side, in terms of software and product, there will still be third-party and platform-exclusive titles. Just not some that's existing lah. So you're gonna see your Stellar Blades, you're gonna see your Rise of the Ronin. I totally forgot that's a new thing. Okay. And other new titles that PlayStation will probably announce in the middle of the year. So nothing to worry about because Final Fantasy VII Rebirth should be out on the week this podcast is out. And we got Rise of the Ronin and Stellar Blade coming out. And also there's Helldivers 2 for people to play.
Now, is this a good move to do this? To announce this like at the beginning of the year and to say that, okay, don't expect any of that major big titles to be released, at least throughout this year? Do you think this is a good move?
Normally, I would say no, but having new IPs coming in and hopefully getting announced in the middle of the year, of this year, might be a good idea for Sony too. And plus these games, the sequels for these existing franchises are probably still in development, so they can't really announce anything yet. Given that we're going to be talking about Xbox and Nintendo later, I think this is an okay piece of news considering that they're not Xbox, which we'll get to later lah.
Alright, sticking with Sony, PlayStation Asia has announced that the PS5 Slim will be released at the end of this month.
That is correct. PlayStation Asia has announced that the new PS5 Slim model will be available in Malaysia from 20th February with a price of $2,499 for PS5. Again, with the whole disk drive, and then $2,069 without the disk drive. However, this new bundle, it also comes with a separate Blu-ray disc drive, which you can connect. Actually, you can insert into the discless version. And I think that will be sold separately at $529, I believe, the separate disc drive. I've actually held the PlayStation 5 Slim, both versions, and it's definitely very carry-friendly. You can put this in the bag together with another laptop inside like a hacky sack or like a regular laptop bag. It's pretty convenient. But just keep in mind that even though it has 1 terabyte of memory inside, not the 825 gig that you get in the original PS5 Slim, it's the same as the PlayStation 5, more or less, the original fat PlayStation 5. So if this is your very first PlayStation 5 console, get the Slim. If you already have a PS5, I can't justify getting it.
Alright, yeah. Moving on, let's talk about Nintendo and the rumored Switch 2. I think every other month we'll be talking about how there will be another new Switch 2. This time around, according to the rumors, it will launch perhaps in early 2025.
That is correct. They are working on games targeting Q1 of 2025, like Nintendo and its other partners, to launch alongside the console itself. A lot of news has leaked that it's kind of supposed to come out on the 2024 end of the year, but now we're getting new news here and there. So all I can say is just wait for the official news from Nintendo, who might probably announce something in the next few months. But anyway, according to the sources, third-party game companies were briefed on an internal delay from late 2024 to early the following year. One publishing source suggested the delay was so that Nintendo could prepare stronger first-party software for the console. So it'll probably follow the same timeline as the original Nintendo Switch back in 2017.
Okay, moving on. Let's talk about Microsoft. And they had a business update of sorts, I think based on the latest episode of the podcast that they had recently, right?
Yeah, that's correct. A special episode of the Xbox official podcast dropped a few weeks ago at this time of recording, revealing that 4 Xbox games are coming to other consoles and platforms. It's already been revealed right now. It's Sea of Thieves, Pentiment, Grounded, and Hi-Fi Rush. All really stellar games on the Xbox, now being ported onto Nintendo Switch and PlayStation consoles. So this is actually just, according to Xbox, is just meant to test the market, use these 4 games and see where they can go from there. And in the same podcast, they announced that Diablo 4 will be on Game Pass following 28th of March onward. However, this is only available for those who paid more for the Xbox Game Pass, not for Xbox Game Pass core members. Also, other big news from the Xbox podcast is Xbox fully paid Game Pass subscription numbers are 34 million, While that seems like it's higher than last year, which is 29 million estimate, the fact that they rebranded Xbox Live Gold to be Xbox Game Pass Core took those numbers and then added up to make it 34 million. So it just feels like it's artificial inflation in a way. And other big news is 10 major games will be announced in June from Xbox's eventual mid-year press conference. And at the end of the year, they'll be teasing new hardware for Xbox's side, which is most likely the new upcoming Xbox console that was leaked a few months ago, where it's like a digital-only big Xbox Series X lah.
What did you make of the news that Microsoft is now open to, I guess, putting their games for other consoles as well?
For the past 2 or 3 years since they released the Xbox Series, they could have had quite a number of exclusives people actually care about, but that doesn't seem to be the case. I feel that, especially when you compare them to Sony, PlayStation, it also proves that Xbox Game Pass is maybe not the best strategy in the long term. It's great for short term and for customers like us, playing free games for a set subscription service. But unless those numbers get higher than that, I don't know whether this is a long-term solution. I don't know how Xbox is going to come back from the race, especially with Nintendo is probably going to dominate 2025 with Nintendo Switch 2. What I'm saying is, for Xbox on the hardware side, I feel that what's the point of getting an Xbox now, especially if the games that I want are also available on PC and PlayStation 5?
Moving on, a bit of a sad news. Yoshitaka Murayama, creator of Suikoden and Eiyuden Chronicle, has passed away.
Yes, he has. He is the creator, like you said, of Suikoden and the upcoming Eiyuden Chronicle, 100 Heroes. He died on 6 February due to complications from an ongoing illness. The news was made public on that week via 505 Games. Murayama was a renowned game designer, director, and producer of the hit Konami RPG series Suikoden, and he was responsible for all 3 games in Konami's heyday before they were a hated company. His other works include 10,000 Bullets and The Alliance Alive. And before his passing, he held a supervisor role in the creation of the spin-off title Eiyuden Chronicle Rising. So yes, it is sad, but the only probably gleaming light of hope right there, the silver lining, is that the game is ready to be shipped out in April.
We're going to talk about this month's releases now, starting with the long-awaited Skull and Bones, developed by Ubisoft Singapore.
So Skull and Bones is a pirate game where you sail around in a ship and destroy pirate ships and do contracts for other people while still on your ship, harvesting and crafting materials while still on your ship through a mini-game for 8 to 20 hours straight. To be fair, the core gameplay, I played about 20 hours of it. My other writer, he reviewed it, did not like it. There's something we can respect about Skull and Bones, where the foundation is fine. It's just that the activities, they do get rote and old after 8-10 hours or so. Compare this to something as frenetic as Assassin's Creed Black Flag back in 2013-14. And you can see the huge divide. On its own, Skull and Bones seems kind of fine, but then when you compare it to an older game, it looks pretty middling. However, since this being a live service game, I think there is hope that people can build upon this title. Skull and Bones has room to grow, definitely, but at this point in time, it's not a game I would recommend paying a lot of money for. Maybe for 30 US I would understand, but not 70 US, because what you're doing in the 8 to 20 hour span doesn't really justify the price. It just feels like a built free-to-play kind of game, especially with the in-game transactions where you buy costumes and whatnot and all the rare. You can even buy Malayan pirate costumes, which is nice lah.
At the end of the day, it wasn't as bad as we thought it's going to be, but it's not great either, right?
It's lacking.
Yeah, so if someone out there wants to scratch that pirate itch, would you rather them play the free version of this game or play Sea of Thieves or Assassin's Creed Black Flag?
Well, just play 8 hours of it and see whether it's your cup of tea. Otherwise, Sid Meier's Pirates, the 2000 remake of the pirate game from Sid Meier, that's a recommended game for me. Skull and Bones, I'll give it credit. You can play it single player and just relax and play through the game. But again, not worth the price.
Alright, okay. Let's move on to Persona 3 Reload.
Yep. Persona 3 Reload is a remake of the 2005-2004 RPG series Persona 3, which actually started the whole trend of mixing in social elements, visual novel type dating scenarios into a real-time turn-based RPG type scenario. So Persona 3 Reload just basically buttons up the graphics, get new voice actors, and recreates the original game to make it more accessible and newcomer friendly. The game features modern quality of life improvements and a few new mechanics to make combat speed up really fast. While there's a lack of certain content that people want from the original, like the answer epilogue, it's still a decent remake, which actually puts Sega and Atlus in a good light because that means we get to see more Persona games getting remade better, like maybe Persona 2. I believe there's a full review from that's also on BFM. Maybe you want to talk about that?
Yeah, the review will be released probably next week. So we're going to hear more from Alif about Persona 3 Reload. And let's move on to Helldivers 2. Yeah, the next game is by PlayStation, but it's also released on PC, right?
Yep, it's from the same guys who made the Magica games, Arrowhead Studios, I believe. So imagine if a game developer made a third-person shooter ripping off Paul Verhoeven's adaptation of Starship Troopers. You get Helldivers 2. So you've got the very humorous narrative tone where basically it's military propaganda up to a bazillion and just made really funny. It comes with a ludicrous narrative tone, a ton of explosions from the single player and multiplayer co-op PvE combat you'll be in against the aliens and bugs in the game, and lots of friendly fire moments where you're calling down support in the form of stratagems. Playing by yourself, it's fun to actually learn the mechanics here and there and finding players online, but at the end of the day, it's better to actually have a team of 4 actually grouping together to play through the many missions and planets defeating bugs and also robots who actually pilot automatons. It's really, really frenetic, really fun. Servers are a bit busted, but it's understandable considering that Arrowhead is actually a very mid-sized small studio, so because of the previous game's experience, they did not expect like a huge influx of players coming in. I think it is like 7 times the amount of people they got compared to the original Helldivers.
Moving on, let's talk about Islands of Insight, a very beautiful game. Tell us more about this, John.
Yeah, Islands of Insight is a hybrid of the Korok Zelda missions you see in Tears of the Kingdom and first-person puzzle games like The Witness. It's a playground of puzzles where you guys just gotta explore and solve puzzles within your own time frame and limits. So get to relax, but also, tease yourself with a bit of grey matter puzzlings here and there. Granted, I never tested the multiplayer for this title, but so far in my single-player online alone experience, it's really good for people who are just into puzzle games or even seasoned puzzlers.
Alright, that's all for this month. What else can we look forward to in March?
Definitely one game that's on the top of my mind is definitely Unicorn Overlord. That's an upcoming game from Vanillaware. It's a strategy title, an RPG kind of title, which is kind of a hybrid between Ogre Tactics and maybe Heroes of Might and Magic. The demo is out right now, so you can actually play that and then, continue your progress in the full game early March. I think beyond that, there's nothing else I'm looking forward to. Maybe we'll talk about that in the next recap.